Hey guys, welcome to Wick Wednesday. We are back here at our normal time, I guess. Wednesdays at 4 p.m. Central. Took a little break for season 7, and here we are.
Season 7. Kayla, Kaniram, it's been a wild, crazy journey through Game of Thrones these past 7 weeks.
It has.
And I just want to thank you for taking it because it was a lot of fun watching it with you. And thanks for you guys for tuning in. I hope you had as much fun as we did. Hey, Julie. Hey, Nydia Lee. And we'd start, I thought we'd start, so today what we're going to do is...
Dan, tell the people.
Kayla and I want to go through season 7 a little bit and just give kind of reflections, look back. What do we think of it?
We're in a new set, by the way. Do you like it?
Oh, I love it. Got the Stark direwolf on the table, like a little coffee table thing. You know, nothing says Michael. We know some things now.
Chairs are a little more comfy than our stools.
They're a lot more comfy than our stools. And we can no longer do Kayla Knows Nothing because you now know everything.
What do we do? Like, should we do something special to retire that? We should have thought of this before right now, but...
That's a question. What we're going to do today, though, is going to reflect back. We're going to look at season 7, assess its strengths and weaknesses, talk about our favorite and our least favorite parts. And to thank you guys for sticking around with us, we're going to give away these 2 sheets of Game of Thrones themed stamps. You know what?
So cool.
We're getting up for a second.
There, that's a good idea.
Exactly. These come from Tourism Northern Ireland and were released in conjunction with the Royal Mail. It's out of focus, never mind. The point is, they're Game of Thrones themed stamps.
They have Queen Elizabeth on them.
They do. 10 each. You got the Targaryen sigil for 1, Faceless Man, Hand of the King, Lannister Lion. You get the idea. Night King, Greyjoy, Squid. You want to go back now?
Oh, we're just going to zoom in so you guys can see.
Very rare, limited edition. They were released through Tourism Ireland to celebrate.
Are they really rare?
Yeah, because they were released for this one tourism push. Like it wasn't like it was circulated all over the place.
How did you get your hands on these, Dan?
Tourism Ireland was kind enough to send us some because we work with them to push some of their amazing promotional campaigns. This year they made a giant tapestry. Like it's just, they weaved Game of Thrones scenes into a tapestry. It was pretty amazing. And we're going to give these away. And the way we do this is I'm going to ask you a trivia question about Game of Thrones Song of Ice and Fire. And you guys are going to hear it. And then you leave an answer in the comments. And the first person to leave a correct answer... Want to hold that?
Oh, well, are we giving... Will 2 people win?
No, I'm going to give them both away.
Oh, both to the same person?
Yeah. We're going to... You're too late now. Already decided. We're going to ask trivia question. The first person to leave a correct answer in the comments will get back to you after the show and ask you for an address, and then we'll send you these sheets of stamps. You can use them on mail. You can just keep them for fun, whatever.
How much do you think these would go for on eBay?
I don't know the answer to that question. I'm not prepared to ask. Not prepared to answer. I'm really not. I don't know.
Throwing you off today,
They're pretty cool, though. The question is, in Game of Thrones Season 7, what is the name of the maester who attends Arya and Sansa at Winterfell? What is the name of the Winterfell maester in Season 7? That's the trivia question. I'll ask it one more time for y'all. What is the name of the maester at Winterfell in Season 7 of Game of Thrones? He was actually in Season 6 as well. What is his name?
So this isn't from the books. This is from the show.
This is from the show. Yeah, this is a show-only question. It's kind of fun. We don't usually have those. And we'll look at your answers later, and one lucky person will get these Game of Thrones stamps.
So exciting.
Very nice. All right, Kayla. Game of Thrones Season 7. Let's just start.
It's in the books. How you feeling?
It's in the books.
Things calmed down for you this week?
They did. Oh my God. My schedule was insane during the season, but it's been very relaxed.
Dan didn't sleep at all.
Almost weirdly so. I'm not sure I like it. But it is happening. Kayla, did you enjoy watching this Game of Thrones season for the first time?
I did. I felt caught up, finally.
You did?
With everyone else.
Were you into it? Did you enjoy the ebb and flow of events, and were you caught up in the story?
Overall, yes. I was very pleased.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to Season 8.
Some of our favorite moments. What was your, if you had to pick one moment that you loved the most, or that you enjoyed the most? Any high points that stood out to you?
There were a lot of high points.
Right.
I'm a big Stark fan myself, so
sure,
I liked seeing all the kids reunite. I liked Sansa and Arya teaming up against Littlefinger at the end. But yeah, I was glad that they're finally getting back together, because we haven't seen them together since Season 1.
It's true. It's been a very long time. So you enjoyed the family togetherness?
Yes. Now Jon needs to come back.
Yeah, it's the last piece of the puzzle. And they all survived, which is great.
Yes, they did.
If you had to ask me, my favorite point, I think, was that giant battle in the 4th episode where Jaime and his Lannister army, the loot train attack, there you go, where Jaime's going back to King's Landing, Daenerys is had enough and sicked her dragon, her Dothraki on them, and just lit them the hell up.
Any of the dragon scenes gave me goosebumps. I think
they were
so
very
cool.
good. They were very well done. They spent a lot of money on it. But you know, I'll tell you, the reason I liked it so much was, I mean, obviously the special effects are great. We all love that. The reason I loved it is because it's kind of Game of Thrones in a nutshell to me. You have different characters. They're on different sides of a conflict. I understood where they were all coming from. And I didn't know exactly who I wanted to win, you know?
Ooh.
Like when Jaime was charging Daenerys, like I understood why he was doing it, and I'm like, maybe he could do it, and that would be better for the country. And then I understood why Daenerys was there doing what she was doing, taking the bolt out of Drogon, and I wanted her to live.
Right, and then Tyrion was watching from
Tyrion's
afar,
watching.
not wanting anyone to die.
Exactly, he was all of us. And I thought that was very...
He was all of us.
He was. I thought that was very, very strong. That was the best moment of the season for me. And then you combine it with like the amazing special effects. It just kind of keeps another notch. What did you think about?
I would have to agree. As far as all the battle scenes went, that was my favorite.
Me too.
How many did we have, really? Only
We
two?
had several. I mean, for this, usually we only
yeah,
have like one big one.
There's two big ones, I think.
I think we're kind of three.
And then Beyond the Wall.
Because remember, we also had the big sea battle in the 2nd episode, where Theon and Yara's fleet crashed into each other.
Right. That had a lot of special effects too.
I know. I mean,
feel like there was fire bombs everywhere.
I will say this season, you could see the money they spent on it. I'll say that. Like, because you almost forgot about that one because it happened earlier in the season, but it wasn't nothing. I mean, it was two fleets banging against each other, fire everywhere, lighting up. And there was a great emotional capper to that one too, where if you remember, Kayla, Uncle Euron took a hold of Yara Greyjoy, and Theon could have tried to save her, but opted to hop out of the boat.
Jump into the water.
What did you think of that moment, Kayla? Was that a good point, bad point for you?
It was sad, but it kind of, I feel like that's Theon these days in a nutshell. I think he needs to find it within himself that he can be a hero.
A hero. I agree.
But in that instance, I think he did the right thing because I think Euron would have just sliced him in half.
Sure. And also, I thought it was a good example of, you get your genitalia chopped off and you go through all this torture. You don't just, snap out of it. Is what I took from it.
Car's confused. Mark is manning our chat if you'd like to leave any comments.
Of course, and I'm looking here too.
Dan's monitoring it as well. Question for you.
Oh, Josh Hill, said inside out shirt, Dan, never forget. That's not nice. This shirt is outside in. The shirt is on correctly, the way it should be.
Never forget Dan's shirt.
No, everyone
out.
forget.
Polo, no less. That, kind of hard to do. Because the buttons, you had to button them.
Oh yeah,
inside.
it would have been a catastrophe. God, I'll never live down that moment.
That was one of my favorite moments from season 7.
I bet it was. I don't blame you. Anyway, what were you saying?
Did it feel shorter with it being 7 episodes? Yes, they were extended at times, but
it did to me.
10?
Well, I think that's a question that we can address in a minute. Let's stay positive for a second.
Oh, okay.
There's some other moments we really liked. Because it was shorter. It did feel shorter. I thought there was a point where they should have at least had one more in there to kind of solve what I saw as some problems. We'll get to that in a minute. Anything else stand out to you?
Okay, yes. Let's see here. I liked that Olenna confessed to Jaime.
That was good. That was a good scene.
I like that now he knows it wasn't Tyrion.
Yes.
And she was one of my favorites, and I hated that she died, but she went out like a champ.
Me too.
So.
That was just, in the annals of Game of Thrones death scenes, that was a pretty good one. Mm-hmm. That was her. She was being a boss to the very end. Even if she was defeated, she kind of went down swinging and threw a lance from death right to Jaime's heart.
Right. Even if Jaime could have done something last minute, do you think he would have? Obviously he seemed shocked by it, but I don't know if he was angry towards her.
I mean, I don't. Oh, Julie Davies says, I think you are cute, Dan. Oh, thank you, Julie. It's so nice. I think he probably always. I don't think he liked Joffrey very much. Just because he's his dad doesn't mean you have to like the kid. He was awful.
Yeah.
No one liked him. And I think he's realizing he's caught up in this kind of thing that's a little bigger than him. He's a decent guy, in an indecent situation where he's part of the Lannister army, even though they're kind of on the wrong side of history, and he's going along with it, but he's uncomfortable. I thought Jaime in general was a very high point of this season.
Yeah.
If I had to pick an MVP, I'd probably pick him.
Whoa, bold statement.
Want to do that right now? Who would be your MVP of the season if you had to pick one?
I'm gonna go Sansa.
Okay, that's good.
I don't know, because
Make
she was coming into her own at the end of season 6, and then she ran the North like a boss while Jon was away, I thought. And then the whole death of Littlefinger.
Yeah,
that her
she
and
plotted
Arya
it. She executed it.
Yeah.
Very nice. Satisfying to see that.
I don't know. She didn't do anything like hugely spectacular, but she was just kind of steady the whole time.
She was. Small victories.
Like, Bronn was weird. Arya was weird. Like, I felt like a lot of the characters kind of went
too.
weird this season.
Bran. Yeah, Bran was weird.
Oh, Bran. Sorry. Yes. So she was pretty like steady throughout.
She was. I like Jaime a lot because I thought that it's because of that conflict thing. The entire season, you could see him being pulled one way or the other.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's with the Lannisters. Well, he's better than the Lannisters, but he's with them. And in the end, he finally leaves Cersei.
I
thought he had a nice arc. Yeah, he met up with Tyrion. That was a good scene. Could have been longer, I thought, but it was a good scene.
The season of reunions.
It was. Tons of reunions.
There was a lot of reunions. I like that. That was a high point for me.
It was. It was nice to see everyone meeting up.
Was it in episode 7 where like Brienne and Podrick?
Yeah,
and
the whole
Hal?
giant meeting.
I like that meeting.
I enjoyed that too. That was fun. That was
all the banter.
It was. I mean, it was an odd season for me because I thought there were some points where the banter was, I don't know, maybe a little forced-ish.
Mm-hmm.
Like when those dudes were beyond the wall and talking, I thought, like, do we need to see all of this?
And that went on for a while.
It did. But I loved the Dragon Pit stuff. I loved Brienne and the Hound talking.
Yeah.
I loved Cersei and Tyrion having another meeting, sit down, talking about their incredibly complicated feelings toward each other. I thought that whole scene was, I loved Daenerys riding in on the dragon and Cersei being like, you're late.
Yeah.
I thought all that was terrific. I really liked that they slowed it down and kind of focused on the little moments there.
Agree with all of that.
How about the very first scene of the season was a pretty big one with Arya
taking down
the rest of House Frey.
Yeah.
Like all of his kids and grandkids just pulling off her face. Getting off to a good start, I thought.
What was it? Pie? Was it?
Yeah. Well, no, she just served poisoned wine to all of them.
Oh, right.
She cooked Walder Frey's 2 of his sons into a pie and fed them to him at the end of last season.
That was what I was thinking.
She's messed up. Which, I mean, we should remember as we talk about her in Winterfell later. Maybe that puts it in context. I mean, because some fans thought that she was acting a little bit strange in Winterfell, kind of too aggressive. But then, I mean, you do have to remember, we're talking about a girl who ground some men into a pie and fed them to their dad. Like, she's not well.
This is completely unrelated, but Taylor Swift's new song, Look What You Made Me Do, they were comparing her to Arya.
Comparing Taylor Swift to Arya?
Yeah, because she says something about having a list and crossing out names.
That's cute. I like that.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift, across time, across space, across realities. One more big thing I think we should address that I liked a lot in addition to reunions, we also had some big meetings, by far the biggest being Daenerys Targaryen and Jon Snow coming together. And these are maybe the 2 biggest characters on the show finally meeting. What do you think of their big introduction?
I love the meeting. I love that they met. I love that they came face to face. I love like just the little details, like when he's petting the dragon and the dragon's
like
smelling him.
Yeah.
Like, obviously it's Targaryen blood.
Right.
I'm glad they met. I don't like the romantic aspect of it, but
Well, let's get into that. I might as well shift to things that maybe we didn't like as much about this season.
I didn't like the incest.
Okay, did not like. I mean, that's perfectly fair. And of course, you guys are want to comment. We welcome
But
you.
everyone loved it.
Julie is with you, Kayla. I would go Sansa too. Also a big Sansa fan. Oh, so would Danny Viz True. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name, Danny. I'm really sorry. Danny also agrees with you. I can say that. Anything else? Oh, Carrie thinks Jaime's going to be handed the queen in the end. Interesting. Yes. Oh, Kathleen Morris Wallace, a good comment. I liked them talking as they were walking because I think it would be necessary for solidarity and common goals. I liked all the testosterone. In the Beyond the Wall section,
Yes,
I'm thinking.
yeah.
That was fun. I didn't hate it. I don't know. I preferred the Dragon Pit meeting a little bit. I thought there was more interesting dynamics going on, but I totally take your point. Kathleen.
I know we discussed this in the finale episode, but any chance Tormund's still alive?
That's the question. They're not answering. You know, the people that give interviews and they're like, I can't tear you, so they're not giving it up.
We're gonna have to wait so long to find out.
We are. I bet someone will slip. We'll see something.
I feel like he's gonna survive, right?
I think so.
Doesn't everyone survive a wall crashing down of ice?
Well, okay. We can do it for a really quick second. When the wall came down.
Oh.
So the wall comes down, and it does show you. It does show you that a section falls down, and the rest of it is still intact. And they were running toward the intact portion.
Dan.
I'm guessing that they're fine.
Good call.
Good call, Dan. Exactly.
Because he has to find Brienne.
And make superpowered babies with her.
Yeah.
If he has his way, which I don't approve of. If she is not into it, we'll see. I mean,
And obviously Cersei, obviously.
I loved Cersei.
Big part of season 7.
I thought she was great.
Playing everybody.
I thought she might have been the best part of it.
Yeah.
Well, I like Jaime
Can't
a lot.
forget her.
I loved the scene where she
As evil as she is.
I mean, is there any part like are you the kind of person who enjoys a good villain?
We have to have it. Like, she's really, I mean, her and Euron, are they really the only villains?
I mean, the
villains
Night
at this
King.
point? Well, yes. Besides
Who's
that.
worse than all of them.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, they are. But I mean, I don't know. I enjoy someone who can, I don't know, like choose some scenery and just ham it up and be really kind of over the top, fun and evil. I enjoy that. And I think Cersei kind of brought that.
Absolutely, yes.
With complexity, too. I loved the scene where she killed Ilaria Sand and her daughter. I mean, again, when I say loved, I don't mean like it's
Dan is sick and
awesome.
twisted.
It's
just kidding.
Yes, sick and twisted. It's very satisfying and kind of transporting to watch.
And it's so her character.
It is. She knows what she would do. And I think the actress is tremendous.
Mm-hmm.
Like the amount of stuff she can pack into her facial expressions is ridiculous. Yeah, she's terrific. I also loved her in the finale with playing everybody, just being wonderfully wicked.
I'm shocked.
You go, Cersei.
That her and Jaime are apart now.
Are you really? You're shocked at that?
I don't know who I'm more shocked at. I don't know if I thought like she would leave or if he would leave.
You thought she might leave?
He kind of
Well,
seems like
yeah, I
the little
could see
puppy that follows her around, but then she also needs him. So
She
I don't
does
know,
to kind
it
of keep her
just surprised
grounded.
me.
I mean, he's her last link to something resembling sanity.
Yeah.
Other than him, you got like what? You have Euron Greyjoy, who's nuts. You have her zombie mountain guy, who's not going to help her with anything. You have her mad scientist. Yeah, like with him gone, she could go even further off the deep end. She's already pretty off the deep end.
Yeah.
Really quick, Euron. Yay or nay? Like him or not? Do you add anything to the season?
He added some fun dramatic scenes, but yeah, not at the top of my list of characters.
Not at the top of my list. I did like him. I thought the actor was pretty charismatic.
Yeah.
I can't pronounce his name. He's like Danish, I think. It's like Pilo Asbjørn. But he was a good time. He was smarmy. He was swaggery.
He played the part well.
He played the part well. I mean,
Hot Topic
it wasn't
Johnny Depp.
terribly like deep, but it was fun.
What was your name for him? Hot Topic?
Hot Topic Pirate, Hot Topic Pirates of the Caribbean, Hot Topic Johnny Depp.
Jack Sparrow.
If Jack Sparrow ran a Hot Topic, there we go. Yes. Okay, let's circle back because.
But one more thing.
Yes.
Like your point about Jaime, his arc in season 7, his arc through the whole series. Like I used to hate him.
It's really good.
I used to hate him. He was
Right.
one of my least favorite, and each season he grows on me more.
Yeah, he's had a very, very solid, consistent time. So I'm looking forward to seeing if he can complete it. Stick the landing in season 8. It's been amazing.
landing.
I mean, that's where we are, Kayla.
Do you
We're
see
stick the
him
landing
ending up
portion.
with anyone?
Brienne, no, I mean, not really. I hope for, I mean, it's been a bittersweet road with Jaime. I hope for a bittersweet ending. I think he'll go through loss. I think he could die. He's totally one of the characters who could die, or might not, and might live to help rebuild Westeros after
was-
the end.
Helpful.
Well, it's where I am. I'm
He
not
could
sure.
die and he could not. We just don't know.
He's had a
what
very
you mean,
he's
though.
had a
He's on the
very
cusp.
yeah. I mean, they all are. I mean, at this point, it's the last season. Anybody could go. I mean, I almost wish more had died this year.
So dark.
Well, sorry.
I will
maudlin.
agree with you. I definitely think they played it safe when it came to killing characters.
Yeah, they did. I mean, we lost. Olenna was pretty big.
I don't know
mean,
how
that was a big
anyone
one.
comes out of that white scene alive.
Yeah, the wall fall. I mean, they want it to, but they don't. And just, I don't know, the whole, that's another thing I probably had a problem with when they went north of the wall. Like, really? No one died. Like, we saw some completely random nameless people get torn apart by zombies, and it was just, yeah, well, you're going to go. I don't care about you, though.
They were definitely handpicked.
Thoros of Myr died. Be honest, do you even know who that is?
Was he Top Knot?
He was Top Knot. Okay. Top Knot died.
And the patch guy.
The patch guy lived.
Oh.
He was on the wall with Torment.
A few and beyond the wall.
They only lost. I mean, they lost the dragon, which was a big deal, to be fair. But the only character who died was Top Knot, Thoros of Myr. Let's go. And I didn't like that. I thought that they could have killed maybe Jorah. I mean, I like these guys, but I felt that they needed more sacrifice, Kayla.
I still feel like he's going to have a really heroic moment.
Sure, of course he will. I'm looking forward to that.
More than the ones he's
Just
already
next
had.
season, you better bring the blood, Game of Thrones. I want blood. But I'm nice and normal and sane. I'm not a serial killer. By the way, getting back to something you didn't like, the incest. Kathleen.
Hey guys, welcome back. Slight technical difficulty there. If you were just tuning in, we were discussing incest.
What a way to get back into it. We were discussing incest, specifically the incest between Daenerys Targaryen and her nephew, Jon Snow. Incest, is it okay? Okay, Caleb.
Hard no for me.
I'm going to play devil's advocate for a second and just see if you buy any of this.
All right.
All right. So, I'm going to sound like such a creep when I don't know what to say. There are fans who say, okay, so technically Jon Snow and Daenerys Targaryen are related.
Just because you doesn't know doesn't mean you're not related. You're still
true.
related.
They don't know, and not only do they not know, they've lived very different lives. You know, they've been, Jon's in the north, doing his whole thing, the north thing. Daenerys is over on the other side of the world, becoming a queen and being a conqueror and all of that. There's no way they could suspect this. And I mean, they are complementary. They're both leaders. They're both brave. They're both heroic types. They both want to make Westeros a better place. What else can I say? And in this, do you give any credence to the argument, not saying I support this, just arguing, do not want to be an incest supporter, that in certain especially, and this is true, in royal marriages, traditionally, back in medieval times, it wasn't unheard of to have a cousin marry a cousin. I don't recall an aunt and a nephew, but that kind of thing did happen. I mean, we both know it still happens occasionally in the modern world. It's not like it doesn't. Oh, yes, it still happens. Cousins get married, it happens. Kissing cousins is a thing for a reason. Seeing is a bad idea.
Well,
does any of this have an effect on you?
Don't the children turn out kind of...
Okay. I was going to say this, because this show deals with incest a lot, and I deal with this show a lot, I've looked into this question a bit.
Oh.
Not just because I like looking at incest. Not usually. If it's like brother and sister, the closer it is,
So,
the
Jaime
more
says his
chances...
kids-
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, at least one of them was a crazy person. The closer you are in DNA, the more likely your kids are to be a little wonky. Cousins are... And I'm not a doctor if anybody's listening to this, so don't act on this. What a weird conversation we're having.
Yeah, I didn't know we were going here.
The kids of cousins aren't, it's not as big of a risk, no.
Okay, well, I'm still very against it.
Fair enough, and that's fine. I will say this.
You made a compelling argument.
Oh, good.
It's a lawyer in you, Dan.
Like, it's one of those situations where, like, great, I make a compelling argument for incest. Hooray for me. Like, I don't want to have done that. I will say this. I really liked how, and keep in mind, just because they're an incest doesn't mean the show's going to approve of that. I mean, this could be the thing that, like, what? And that tears them apart. Like, I don't mind it if, there's a difference between it being in the story and the story approving of it, is what I'm saying, I guess. And we don't know which way the story's going to come down yet.
Okay.
I did love the way they revealed it, because I thought I really liked that fans had wanted this for a long time, and then I like when Game of Thrones does. You didn't want Jon and Dany, or just you didn't want incest? If you didn't know Jon and Dany were related,
I still don't know if I'd want to get... Like, I feel like they lose power by doing this.
really interesting. Tell me how.
Because they're both very powerful people, and
They are.
I think they're making each other weaker by being together.
Interesting.
Why do I think that?
I don't know. I mean, it's an interesting point.
I don't like them together, and I don't know why. Incest or not, I don't think I'd want them together.
Enough.
That's weird.
That is. I mean, I don't think it's
Very
weird.
unpopular opinion too, I'm pretty sure. Who do I want to be together? I liked him in what's her face? Egret?
Egret was great, yeah, and not related at all, not even a little.
I saw it with him.
Yeah, I do think that they make a decent match.
I think I still want Dany to be with some.
And remember, Tyrion was looking worried there at the end, so he didn't really like the idea of them together either. So you're not alone.
I think he was worried for a different reason.
Why?
I heard from a fan theory that Tyrion promised that Cersei's unborn child will take over for Dany.
I have heard that theory.
And that's why he was concerned that they were hooking up, because then if they have a kid, that will be the heir to the throne.
Right. I think that's hogwash for a bunch of reasons. I just don't think it would be a case. I mean, well, for one thing, if that was the case, then Cersei's betraying them, so why does he have to be beholden to that? And in the other case, I don't think that's the case.
I felt like
anyway.
it was just so much talk about her not being able to get pregnant that now she'll get pregnant.
Oh, yeah. Definitely, I think we can expect a Daenerys pregnancy in season 8, just because you don't talk about it that much and not do it.
I don't think I've ever gotten over, what's his face? Drogon?
Drogo.
Drogo.
Well, his namesake, Drogon's still alive.
True.
You're right. I mean, it is impressive how long those relationships have echoed into the show.
Or the second one where they switched characters that I'm still.
Daario and Naharis?
Yeah. First
I mean,
Daario
he was a rebound for Daenerys, and it was like, whatever.
I just see her being with a Dothraki.
Yeah, I mean, she has plenty of them on hand. That'd be a fun twist. I get behind that. I mean, you know that this is more for maybe our season 8 talk, but my pet wish is that maybe this drives Jon and Dany apart and they end up fighting, not together.
Oh.
I would think that would be great, but
I want them to be allies, I just don't want them to be lovers.
Too late.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was that. How about Sam's journey? Because Sam precipitated that. He found out, or rather Gilly found out that Jon was legitimate and then took it back to Bran.
I dreaded every Sam scene for about the first 3 episodes.
Yeah, he had some gross stuff. The poop montage.
Yeah, the first episode 1, that's when it was like the really gross one. I didn't totally mind the removal of grayscale
from Jorah.
Thought it was kind of interesting.
Yeah, good.
But yeah, most of his things were disgusting.
I mean, it was just those 2, though. It was those 2, and then the rest were fine. Just he trained us to think it was going to be gross every time.
Right. But yeah, I liked his story. I'm kind of sad that he's apart from
the Citadel, Old Town.
Friends, yeah.
Yeah, he made the decision that they weren't going to help, so he split. He stole a bunch of scrolls and split.
But I think it was good for him to learn more.
He's
read,
definitely
get an education.
It was. I mean, but he did leave. It shows that he's undergone a transformation too. He's got a lot more of a backbone now than he used to.
He's better suited for the studies versus the battlefield.
He is, but he decided he was needed closer to where the action was because he couldn't do anything at the Citadel, and he left. Hasty? It happened. And he did get the information about the incest, which we've already talked about, has split opinions. All right, going into more things that we didn't like. Okay, I'm just going to say it now. Dan
feels very strongly about a few things.
I do feel very strongly about a few things. 2 things specifically.
Take it away.
Okay. I didn't let Jorah be true to her until he takes his last breath, says Carrie Jacobson. I bet he will.
Agreed.
How about Dany and Jorah? Yeah, too weird, too old.
I mean...
For her, not just too old in general, but
right. I actually wouldn't... people are going to hate me for this. I'd rather have that happen than her and than her and Jon.
That's not your people hate you for that. That's fine.
But I feel like she sees him as like an older brother kind of thing.
It's like almost even a father figure almost.
Yeah.
It's definitely she's not into him. She's just not into him. Not into him.
I want someone for Sansa, but I feel like there's no one. Jaime?
No.
No?
I don't think so. Tyrion, actually, I wouldn't hate for Sansa. They're both smart. They were married at one point.
I was going to say, yeah, they were already been there, done that.
Never quite got divorced. How about that? I wouldn't mind Tyrion and Sansa getting together at some point.
Power couple. Hey.
Yeah, I mean, because they're both intelligent. They both know how to play the game. I think at this point, Sansa could appreciate, maybe she didn't before, but she could appreciate him now for what he brings to the table, rather than being a short guy. I wouldn't hate that. How about that one?
Yeah.
Okay. You're not like enthusiastic about any of these though, which is fine. Anyway, I was saying, okay, I did not like the Arya Sansa drama at Winterfell that much.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why, Kayla.
Tell me.
I didn't buy it. I didn't buy that Arya would be that mad at Sansa for that little.
Agree.
And I mean, I get that they were about to do the Littlefinger death, and I enjoyed the Littlefinger death scene. That was fun.
But now that we know that they were conspiring behind the scenes, was that just all played up then?
It wasn't. There's actually a deleted scene, which, I mean, I don't think they needed it, where they were against each other, but then Sansa, in the final episode, where Littlefinger's telling her, assume the worst in everybody, she starts to get the idea, oh, if I assume the worst of you, you're doing this, aren't you? So she goes to Bran and is like, Bran, you can see everything everywhere. I need you to check up on this for me. And he says, oh yeah, he's playing you, and you need to kill him.
But they didn't want us knowing that.
No, because they wanted the dramatic reveal to be there,
Gotcha.
which I get. I thought there needed to be more. I thought Arya needed another push. Arya needed another better reason.
Besides just the note she found.
The note. Like, I get what they were going for, right?
Right.
Like, they did.
No, I completely agree with you on this.
Good. I mean, like they did have friction. The two sisters. Sansa did throw Arya under the bus back in the day about the wolf situation, and they were very different, and they didn't get along.
Changed even more from when
Totally.
they used to know each other.
And yeah, I mean, if you weren't with Arya and you just met her and she has a bag of faces she carries around, yeah, that's creepy and weird. I mean, I'm not saying that's not true, but I thought that she needed more reason to be mad, because she gave her like no benefit of the doubt, and I just didn't quite see why.
I wanted more trust between them. They're family.
Yeah, exactly.
The whole thing bothered me.
So that I didn't like, and I'm glad it resolved itself, and now they're hunky-dory, and that'll be going forward, but I thought they could have done more with that. And that's kind of where I wanted one more episode in like the back half of the season, where it went into this kind of thing a little bit more. The other thing I didn't like was kind of the whole let's go north and capture a white thing. It was fun, it was cute, they're north, they fight some whites, there's some dragons. The dragon death was fun. Again, it was something I just didn't buy that they would do it quite that way. Like, I didn't buy that Tyrion would, believe in the army that to begin with, like that hard, and suggest going to find a white, which is just, there's an army of the dead, we don't know where it is, to convince Cersei, who's notoriously selfish and not going to help them anyway, to do it. So I just, the whole time they were up there, I was like, why? And why would Jon Snow go? He's the king in the north.
All good points, Dan.
That was just in the back of my head the whole time.
I thought it was very unrealistic how they all walked out of there but one.
Yeah.
That's
me
what.
too.
I like the story of them going to get one.
It was fun. I mean, it was fun to watch. It was good to watch.
Right. But yeah, the probability of all of them making out alive was not.
I mean, again, they killed randos. They killed people who we never literally met before.
Right.
And do not have names.
Yes.
So they died, and Top Knot died.
And Top Knot.
I enjoyed the zombie polar bear and everything. It was fun. I liked the dragon. I mean, the dragon death scene was crushing, but I just wish they'd taken a little more time and gotten us to these places in a way that made a little more narrative sense to Dan.
Should we get Weiss and Benioff on here and ask them?
Yes! If you're, and I know you are, Dan Weiss Benioff, you're great. Please come on here and we can talk to you about your choices, and I can shake my finger in your face and tell you what you did wrong. No, I'm just kidding. I will flatter you to the end of the earth. And thank you for the show. If anybody agrees or disagrees, love to hear from you.
What else didn't you like?
That was those were the two big things.
Okay.
There were some like small bits, like folk were complaining that Euron Greyjoy was warping around the map a lot. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
What else do we got? You didn't like the incest. I was okay with it. I thought it was kind of fun. I guess the last point that rankled some people was Bran this year. Some folk really liked it. Some folk didn't. What was your opinion on the new, more emotionless Bran Stark?
He's never been like in my top favorite characters.
Yeah,
ever,
it's kind of hard to like love him.
I wasn't really affected by it, but I thought he was kind of weird.
It's a little weird. I mean, you know, it's part of the kind of sci-fi thing that you, or fantasy rather, that's like the part of the show that you're not as enthusiastic about.
I like the more like ever after bits.
What do you mean?
Just like the period piece of it, aspect of it.
And I mean, again,
in the day.
the final season I'm sure will be full bore fantasy stuff.
Oh, yeah, bring it.
But you know, you had 7 seasons of it. It's Game of Thrones. What I always liked about it is that it mixes them. You know, I mean, I think that's part of the reason why it's gotten so popular, because you can find there's something for someone in there, unless you like comedy sitcoms, I guess. Not really a sitcom. But otherwise, you know, you got the battles, you got the drama, you got the family stuff, you got the stuff about marriages and relationships, and you have the fantasy zombies and dragons and stuff. There's something in there for everybody.
But even though I don't like it, it doesn't turn me away.
No.
I'm still gonna watch.
I mean, you're in it now.
Right. I'm invested.
I enjoyed Bran. I thought it was fun. I liked when he spooked Littlefinger and told him cases of ladder. That was cute. And he helped solve the case at the end, and Littlefinger is dead. And that's...
Hip hip hooray.
Kayla, if you would have to pick a favorite moment from Game of Thrones Season 7, what would it be?
All these hard questions. One?
Or if you can't choose just one, you can go with, I don't know.
I mean, again, I'm going to go with the whole Littlefinger killing.
Sure. Yeah, it was a good bet.
Sisters and brother all coming together.
It was a satisfying
ruling
bit.
the North.
I also really liked the actor Aidan Gillen who plays Littlefinger's performance in that last scene. I thought that was going to be the best he'd been maybe ever.
Yeah, there's
like
a
when
lot
he was breaking down.
talk about him.
Yeah, he was very, very good.
I'm a big fan of the Hound. I love that he's
The Hound was
back.
fun.
Yeah.
He was fun this year.
He makes me laugh. Everything he says is just so brash.
He
and
has
to the
no
point.
time.
Right, no time.
Throwing the rocks at the zombies. I did enjoy him on Put North of the Wall bits. That was fun.
Always love Tyrion. He's always there for
Tyrion's great.
wine and a good laugh. Obviously the Dany and Jon thing. I like that they met. I didn't like that they hooked up, as we've established.
All right, so you have like many points you love.
Yeah.
Okay.
And anything with the flying dragons.
Of course. Were you upset when the one got killed?
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
we don't have him on our little table anymore.
It's going to be really interesting to see how that goes down next season.
I'm looking for. Come on, I want to see a dragon battle a dragon in there. It's gonna be just fun. I don't care about it.
What about you, Dan? Favorite moment?
It would definitely be Jaime charging at Daenerys while Tyrion watches.
All about
I thought
that battle scene.
And that point specifically, that to me is Game of Thrones. You got the battles, you got the different perspectives colliding, you got characters you like but who are opposed to each other, and you understand all of them at the same time. Loved it. Anyway, any final thoughts, Kayla, on Game of Thrones Season 7?
I think we're good. This is a good wrap-up.
Right?
Review.
I feel very cleansed.
Okay, good.
And we'll be back next week, guys, to look forward to Game of Thrones Season 8. What we want,
Looking
what
ahead.
we know, because we do know some things, and how we hope this whole shebang wraps up. Mike Archer thinks the dead dragon awakening was the best moment. Definitely a fun one.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you guys have your best moments, put them in there. If you get them in the next 3 seconds, I'll read them.
Taking down the wall.
Taking down the wall was definitely fun. Okay. Oh yeah, Lisa Heckler when Davos introduced Jon Snow and Daenerys reads off all her giant titles and he's like, he's Jon, he's the king of the north.
That was funny.
That was pretty good. Yeah, it was good times.
Good times.
So next week we'll be back with a Season 8 preview, and congratulations to whoever won this. We'll contact you shortly, the Game of Thrones stamps. Back next week, Wednesday at 4 p.m. Central on the Winners Community Facebook page for Morwick Live. Thank you guys for taking this journey with us. Hope to see you back. We'll be doing more giveaways in the future. I think we should have some booze to drink.
Ooh.
And, Kenny Adamo's favorite moment was the Hound talking to the mountain. That was a nice bit.
It was.
When he walks up to him at the dragon pit and just gets one on his face. Lots of stuff to go around. And we'll see you guys next week, Wednesdays at 4 Central.
See you then.